That's that done. Got my last badge, and now you can see the story. Hi, and welcome to this is the Ven-10 group ride, banded ride, so it's an easy ride. So I picked the BMX bike for the ride, probably a bit harder than with a normal bike, but still is a banded ride, so it's not too much of a problem. We're currently descending to the U-turn and we're heading back down to get the free effortless XPs, but you have to go uphill to earn them. So ta-da! Hello and welcome to Ven-10. This is the last of the badgeable routes that I need to ride to have the full set. 3 minutes to go. Busy day today. There's this. Then I'm going to a brocante, see if there's anything I can find related to bikes, and then I might come back and do tiny races. Then I go back to the brocante with my wife. We'll have lunch there, and then in the afternoon we're going to a collector's disc fair, as in LPs, music. Okay, let's have some music on it and just sit in and enjoy a banded ride. So basically this is the last badge that I need to have the full set of badgeable route badges. There are some routes that are not badgeable that I've not ridden. Quite often they're event only, I don't do a lot of racing. Okay, so rear view, I've got my squirrel. I don't think anybody else has one. So I can use the companion to tap on riders and see how much of the Zwift is around me. Gee Russell. Private user, no data available. Okay, Lewis. Key rider, race score 203, level 9. New to Zwift. Welcome. Warren. New rider, score 221, level 6. Why is that the same as level 6? Okay. So there's quite a few new riders. Let's look at somebody else then. Lovely. C rider, 238 race score, level 60. Ven-10, D level 157 race score, level 35. Bitcoin Maxi, good grief. Yuck. I wouldn't want a photo like that. But then with a name like Bitcoin Maxi, a late joiner just joined. Who've we got? And a late joiner is Kelly. Well, I appreciate that, but I was just curious how long this takes for the average rider. What's this? I'm missing messages. Okay. Alright, it's a branded. Bitcoin Maxi. Oh, what was it? Yeah, Bitcoin Maxi. Okay, so let's just explain that. If you have never I'm going to have to put the fan on. Good. Oh, we lost somebody. You just have to make the pedal. To stay in the group. Going first five. So 10 questions for a Zwifter. First question you can ask yourself is, when did you first hear about Zwift? Now, I remember reading about this in its project status on in Cycling Magazine. So that was probably 10 years ago or more, and at the time I was thinking, gosh, I couldn't afford power meters or a home trainer that was likely to connect, but it sounded interesting, and then it developed and developed and developed. Then came along COVID, and there I realised, since we were not allowed to ride outdoors, that I needed to find something other than just an old-fashioned home trainer, wheel-on home trainer, and my downloaded Sufferfest videos that I was a huge fan of. And so basically I tried to purchase one of the cheapest available smart trainers, which was the Saris H3, I think, and I sold out everywhere. You could not get hold of a home trainer, a smart trainer of any kind, rollers, wheel-on trainers, smart trainers, in 2020. And eventually, about 6 months later, some came back into stock, and I bought one, the Saris H3, which I'm a big fan of, and it was pretty good. It did all the steep gradients, and the power readings, I don't know, something up to 2000 watts, but my maximum power was at the time on the 800, and it's not anywhere near that now. So the important thing, I think, was having something that basically for me was going to handle all of the gradients on Zwift. So that was it. I first heard of Zwift about 10 years ago, signed up about 5 years ago. 5 years ago. Okay. Next question. When did you decide to join the Zwift? Well, that one was easy. And basically, lockdown. It went on for months and months. All the racing was cancelled. No, couldn't go outside anyway. So it was a very difficult period for clubs and cyclists. And I live in a countryside village where there's a big club of runners, and basically they were allowed to go out and run within a 3-kilometre radius of the house, or 1 kilometre, but for a cyclist that's like running to the end of the street and back. So I was a little bit jealous as I was sitting on my home trainer in the garden in the sun, pedalling away, and hearing the runners stop just across the road on the other side of my garden hedge and chatting away. But it is what it is, it's not the end of the world. So I decided to get a home trainer and join Zwift in 2020. So I've been on Zwift for about 5 years now. I've got a Zwift hub, or Zwift One, or whatever it was called at the time. Next question. What did you feel about the cost investment? Because they say it's expensive, and basically this was something that I took into consideration and thought about a lot before finally investing in a smart trainer. Was the one issue for me about power meters and power meter pedals. I have several bikes, and I would be wanting to swap those meters, or the pedals, backwards and forwards every week. So smart trainer with built-in power meter was perfect for me. There was no question of swapping it on bikes or whatever. So that was one of the reasons for going down the route of buying a smart trainer. I think it was about €650, which is about the same price as a pair of pedals. So this solved a lot of stuff. It got me on Zwift, and it gave me power data, or power information if you like, that I've never had. And I don't fixate about that. Let's switch that one off. It's rattling away. Put this one on. Okay, next question. No. So how did I feel about the cost investment? Well, at the time, I thought that was a pretty logical choice. And basically you can offset it against the risk of riding outdoors and having an accident or puncture or wrecking a wheel or basically getting soaked and wet. minimal maintenance for the bike and much reduced risk for the man on the bike. Zwift subscription, well, people say how expensive it is, but when I've been racing with riders who are going, where are we racing Saturday, where are we racing Sunday, and it costs you about €100 with motorway tolls and fuel and race entry. So it costs maybe up to 80 to €100 per race. €100 will pay you something like 5 months subscription. So it's really a no-brainer. And add to that an event like this, you can get up, get out of bed, get dressed, get a coffee, a couple of biscuits, oh yeah, and that's it. When you're finished, back upstairs, shower, and then you're done for the day. You're not looking out of the window at the weather all day long, wondering if you're going to be able to ride your bike in the evening. So, that's it. Next question. Bump. What was the first ride like? First ride was catastrophic in a way because I didn't realise just exactly how Zwift works. So I started a ride, it put me on, what's it called, downtown Watopia, just in front of the beaches. Standing there at the side of the road, wondering what on earth is going on. People are riding past, not waving, just as if you're invisible. So I set off, and I tried to catch a group that sped past. And I think we can all kind of understand and get this one. The harder I tried, the more frustrated I became because I could not catch the group. So they were going, I don't know, 40 kilometers an hour, and I was having difficulty getting over, I think, 27, 32. So I did attempt 2 rides and then gave up. And I think it took me another 4 months before I came back to Zwift. You need purpose and motivation. You need to ride either with a group or with a robo-pacer. And you then find the true extent of the fun and the communication. The camaraderie does exist, and basically joking away. To come back to Zwift, it was probably about 3 or 4 months later, could have been longer. So basically, I didn't know what to make out of it. I was paying my subscription, didn't really matter. But once I came back, I never stopped. First thing I said about was doing the route badges, group rides, the Provence, Équipe Provence badge rides, and other groups on badge rides, and then created an Excel spreadsheet with all the badgeable routes and the distance and all that, and started ticking them off. Bit of advice if you want to do that, if you're new to Zwift and you're going to race and you want the badges, I use the short routes. I use the short routes and basically as a warm-up. So I would do maybe a 7-9 kilometre warm-up on a route that gave me a badge just before the race. So here we are, pedalling away. I'm in zone 1 because it's a banded ride and I'm not doing any major work here. And the strange thing here is that I'm out in the middle of the road. I think I'm going to move into, right, there you go. It's kind of weird. Right, that's fixed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So, next question. What type of races did you ride first? Well, I don't think there were any race categories at the time, or it was basically, well, that was it. There was no category enforcement. So as a new rider, I rode the D races and did fairly well in those. Apart from the times when I was beaten by a 19-year-old who was finishing with the A riders because they were mass start events, and a 19-year-old finishing equivalent of second place with the A's. There's nothing to do in D rides. So Zwift came along and introduced category enforcement. It was done in various phases. There were anti-sandbagging races, then category enforcement, and now racing score. And the two coexist: category A, B, C, D, and racing score. The problem is today not everybody has taken on board racing score, and big races such as ZRL, who have a massive following, are not convinced that it would be a success for them at the moment. Ooh, this feels hard, steep, 10%. So types of races were short distance races, 10, 15 kilometers. I think the first ever race I rode was time trials on Fuego Flats or TikTok. And that I really hadn't a clue where my fitness was with respect to anybody else. I never caught anybody in the time trials, and I was caught by several people. It was kind of weird. I think I rode 4 before I lost interest. I went to group races. What's my favourite world or route on Zwift? Both of those, really. I used to like the crit city circuits, particularly the Bell Lap. Just a small lump in the middle and hard all the way around. I also like the Macquarie Islands, the castle route. That's about 6 kilometres round, I think. Good, like 1 kilometre hill up there. Any other favourite routes? It depends. Depends on what's motivating me at the time. Next question. Most feared routes. That. I think as I discovered Zwift, in the order was the Lutcher and Innsbruck circuits. Those were crazy. I hated that because I hate hills. Eventually I grew to hate a lot of the New York circuits, especially the ones that go up that glass route. That was my probably most disliked and feared route. Nowadays I don't really have any feared routes as such. I have routes I know I'm not going to be good at, but it all depends on your fitness, and my fitness basically goes up and down and up and down. That's the way I am, that's the way I roll. Next, let's have a cold coffee. So, we're over halfway. Strangest Zwift related experience. I have a few. Some fun ones was definitely having my end of year appraisal with my boss's boss, who lives in Vancouver, and basically my boss was ill and our team had to have our annual appraisal interview rapidly before a deadline. So my boss's boss, we connect online, we visit video meeting, and turns out he's a Zwifter. Not only that, he was one of the original beta Zwifters. Well, 6 o'clock alarm. Okay, so turns out he was a Zwifter, one of the original beta Zwifters, and a category A rider. So that was the coolest annual appraisal I've ever had. We could only slot in a 20-minute interview, spent 18 minutes talking about Zwift and 2 minutes going through the formalities, because basically, for legal reasons anyway, he could not make any judgmental statements or judgments. He was just signing off that it's been done. He was a really nice man. Okay, that's the end of the questions for this time round. Oops. Stop pedalling. That's 30 minutes. Oh, another one. Yeah, here we go. My last road badge, and I have the full set. Yes, the full set, and hopefully no glitches this time. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Did it say I got the badge or not? Let me see it. Yes, route complete. And we're going left. Can't do it. What's going on here? Ah. Shit. Okay, down arrow. Data, watts, FTP, ZFTP and racing score. What do they mean to me? Well, this is a question I forgot to ask myself during the ride, so here it is now. Watts, I live by the watts. When I'm on the bike, I'm often looking, in fact, most of the time looking at the watts. FTP, no, I'd really, if I'm feeling fit, I'll do an FTP test. I'm not fit at the moment, so my FTP will be down, so it's a bit irrelevant for me personally. ZFTP, I've never understood that, never. I just go with whatever is attributed to me and don't even think about it. I don't know how it's calculated. don't really know why it's a different, but there are reasons, and I couldn't care less. Racing score. Now there's a cool one. Racing score is interesting, and it's a better way than the old A, B, C, and D categories. That's for sure. That's the way I feel anyway. And simply because if you're near a borderline, you can go up or down more easily than if you're borderline between two A, B, C, or D categories. You can go up easily, but not down. Okay, so I'm out of here on my way to a brocante, which is like a car boot sale or whatever, and let's see if I can find anything interesting. Maybe I'll include some clips like this. Okay, cookie. See you later, alligator, and a wild crocodile.